Okay, so hi everybody. Once again, I am Manik from the channel Literature Study at Home. I welcome you for today's discussion. As you can see, this is the seventh in the series of complete English literature MCQ series. Okay, so I am going to discuss with you 30 most important MCQs from Geoffrey Chaucer. As you know, he is one of the stalwarts, rather greatest stalwarts of English literature. Okay, so let's start the proceeding. First question. Geoffrey Chaucer served in various governmental positions during his lifetime. So you have to mention which was the position he holds for lifetime. Okay, so it was option C. He served as the Lord Chancellor of England most of his time in his career. Now, second question. Chaucer's most famous work, apart from the Canterbury Tales each. So, apart from Canterbury Tales, there is a work which was dealing with the Trojan history or Trojan War, and it is none other than, obviously, Troilus and Cressida. Okay, so this is the second most famous book of Chaucer after Canterbury Tales. Third question. In what year or in which year was Geoffrey Chaucer born? He was born in 1343. Chaucer's early life included service as a page too. In his lifetime, as you have already come across, that Chaucer served during the reign of three kings, Edward the Third, Henry IV, and Richard II. So it was in the reign of Edward III or Edward III, Chaucer's early life was included as the service as one of its pages. Now, question number 5. Which English king was Chaucer closely associated with throughout much of his life? So, throughout much of his life, Chaucer was very much attached to this king, and he is none other than Richard II. Okay, so it is mentioned and here Richard III, it should not be like that, it should be Richard II. Okay, now question number 6. Chaucer's diplomatic missions included travels to. So Chaucer's diplomatic missions included his travels to various countries, and among them there are countries like obviously Italy, Flanders, and Germany. So your option C is the correct answer. Now, question number 7. Which of Chaucer's works is considered a courtly allegory? So you have to mention the name of the work, which is nothing but a courtly allegory, where it features birds. They were gathering to choose their mates on a special day that is called Valentine's Day. And I think most of you have already answered, and that is the Parliament of Fowls. This is a poetry, or rather, this is a poem. You have to remember it well. Now, question number 8. In which poem does Chaucer lament the death of Blanche, Duchess of Lancaster? So you have to name the poem. It's a kind of elegiac poetry where Chaucer lamented the death of Blanche, and the book's name is The Book of the Duchess. The Book of the Duchess is the answer. Now, Chaucer's masterpiece, Troilus and Cressida, is based on a tale from. So, Chaucer was influenced by the kind of mythology which has been given later, that is with four options: Greek mythology, Norse mythology, Arthurian legend, medieval history. So I think you have already hinted by me that was Trojan War is, or rather was, a kind of a historical word or event that occurred in Greek mythology. So obviously, Troilus and Cressida was based on Greek mythology. Now question number 10. Which of Chaucer's works is a dream vision? So here we are going to find a work which is obviously a dream vision poem, and where the poet is guided, and the particular or individual perspective characteristic is that in this poem the poet is guided by an eagle to the temple of fame. So the poet is guided by an eagle to the temple of fame. So the answer is nothing but the house of fame. Yes, the house of fame is the right answer. Now, question number 11. What is the name of the narrative poem by Chaucer? So, this is a narrative poem by Chaucer that describes the tragic love affair between the title characters. So, you have here four options, and you can, without any kind of knowledge, you can answer the Troilus and Cressida, as the name is highlighted in the title. So, it has been mentioned right, titled character, isn't it? Yes, obviously in Troilus and Cressida we have found such kind of love affair. Okay, so Troilus and Cressida is the right answer. Now your question number 12. Which literary form did Chaucer help popularize in English literature? So Chaucer was very much famous for his representation of romance. Okay, romance is the right answer. Now next question. Chaucer's most significant patron during his later years was, so it has already mentioned but in a different way. So it was Richard II. He was the king who was the significant patron during his later years of his time. Next question. Which of Chaucer's works is a translation of a French allegorical poem by Guillaume de Loris and Jean de Meaux? So they were the actual writer of the allegorical poem, and this poem was a French poem, and it was translated into English, and the translation was done by Chaucer, and the next new work that was in English, it was done by Chaucer, and the title is The Romance of the Roach. Yes. Next question. Question number 15. Chaucer's writing style is often characterized as. So what is the characteristic of Chaucer's writing style? As we have already come across, he wrote in very simple and straightforward style. Now 16. Chaucer held the position of clerk of the king's works, which involved. So Chaucer held the position of a clerk of the king's works. So in that position, what he did actually, he was overseeing construction project. What he did, he was overseeing the construction project. Now question number 17. Okay, what is the title of Chaucer's unfinished work? So Chaucer wrote numerous works, but this is a kind of work which was, or rather which remained unfinished, which is a collection of short stories. So it's a kind of collection of stories linked by the frame narrative, and it is a story within a story of pilgrims. So there will be some pilgrims traveling to a place named Canterbury. So obviously it's a kind of descriptive question. So in this description, everything was given. So that's why you have to know, you have no worry, rather don't worry about the answer, finding the answer. Then the answer is Canterbury Tales. Okay, now your next question. Chaucer's earliest known work is, which among the works according to you was his earliest work? So if you have found the options, I think it will be highlighted to you that it is the Book of the Duchess. It was his earliest known works. Now next is, Chaucer was married to whom? So as you know, it was due to this marriage Chaucer was introduced to the court. Okay, so it was Philippa of Hainault, She was the wife of Chaucer. Now, question number 20. What is the title of the poem by Chaucer that mourns the death of Blanche, Duchess of Lancaster? So I have already mentioned this poem, The Book of the Duchess. Okay, this is the answer. Okay, repeated question. Now, question number 21. Chaucer's influence on the English language was significant. So Chaucer's influence on the English language was significant because why? Because his works helped to standardize English language, isn't it? So it is option C. His works helped standardize English. Now question number 22. What is the title of the poem by Chaucer? And this poem describes a dream vision of the afterlife. So it is a kind of poem that presented a dream vision of the afterlife where the narrator ascends to the heavens. So it is obviously the House of Fame. Okay, the House of Fame is the answer. Okay, now question number 23. Chaucer's service as a soldier. Chaucer's service as a soldier included participation in Chaucer's service as a soldier included in participation with where? So as you know, during his time there was a war and it was going for nearly 100 years. So that's why the war is named as the 100 Years' War, and he was a part of this war. Now 24. Chaucer's role as a diplomat allowed him to travel in various European countries, and where he was exposed to what kind of literature? That is a major question and you have to remember it. And as you have known, he was very much influenced by the Italian people and especially the Italian poetry. Yes. Now question number 25. Chaucer's friendship with John of Gaunt, and he was the Duke of Lancaster, provided him with what? So as you know, I have mentioned that he has a very strong connection with the court. So Chaucer's friendship with John of Gaunt, and he was the Duke of Lancaster, so provided him with what? And he received a lot of financial support from him. Okay, now question number 26. Which of Chaucer's works is a translation of a classical work by Boethius? So you have to mention the name of the work which was translated by Chaucer, and the work is a classical work by Boethius, and in that work he presents philosophical ideas in the form of a dialogue between the author and Lady Philosophy. So what is your answer? Yes, of course, the Consolation of Philosophy is the right answer. Now next question. Chaucer's position as a customs official allowed him to what? So Chaucer's position as a customs official allowed him to collect taxes on imported goods. Okay. Now question number 28. Chaucer's literary career was greatly influenced by his exposure to what? French courtly love poetry. French courtly love poetry. Now question number 29. What is the title poem by Chaucer that explores theme of love, jealousy and betrayal in the context of the Trojan War? So this is a kind of very important question, and this is the kind of most descriptive question. I think that's why you can't miss the answer. Yes, obviously it is Troilus and Cresside. Okay, now your next question, that is our last question for today. So Chaucer's writing is often associated with the literary period. So what is the name of the period? And it is obviously the Middle Ages. So that's all for today. I hope we will be very much satisfied if it is beneficial to you, or rather you have found it very helpful. Thank you and have a great day.